Good day, YouTube friends and neighbors. Today I would like to respond to CozmikZen. He's currently broadcasting on the channel The Aist due to his having been false flagged out of existence more times than I can count. And if some reason you're subscribed to me and you aren't subscribed to him, I strongly recommend you look over his channel. Now, today he asked a series of 8 questions, and these questions are not easy to answer. And I believe that I could easily burn off 15 minutes on each individual question, let alone trying to pack all 8 of them into a single video. So, without further delay, I would like to move on to the first question. To me, enlightenment is a process. It is the process of replacing false beliefs, thoughts, and ideas with more true thoughts, beliefs, and ideas. I don't really believe that it is possible to achieve full enlightenment, because I don't really believe it's possible for mankind to actually know everything, or at least to actually know everything truly. So I think it's a process. This kind of leads directly into questions 2 and 3. And I'll answer them both at the same time. Science. I don't think there's really any other way to determine truth. I do want to kind of count philosophy into this, but philosophy isn't nearly as good at it because philosophy doesn't rely on evidence. Philosophy is tricks with logic and whatnot. It can be extremely useful. I don't want to completely discount it, but it doesn't necessarily get you to truth, because your premises need to be verified, and they can only be verified by science. The scientific method is the key. And if your philosophy is being generated using that kind of methodology, then your philosophy may actually bring you some enlightenment. When a philosophy is created or conducted entirely without the scientific method, I don't believe that it actually can lead you to enlightenment. Or at least, if it does, it's just dumb luck that it did. Well, first off, question 4 is in and of itself a moral question. And secondly, I think that imposing one's morality on another is inherently fraught with horrible peril and should be minimized, not done any time you can remotely avoid it, because the end result is often worse than the problem you're trying to cure. But I don't think we could have a society without imposing morals on other people. And as my example of this, I will point to every law that has ever been made by man is an attempt to impose morality on another. Most importantly, this includes laws against rape, murder, theft, fraud, any number of things that the vast majority of us will agree are wrong and that our society cannot function if we allow people with those morals, the morals that say it's okay to kill people, it's okay to steal, it's okay to rape, if their morals say that, we can't exist as a society and let them run free. So the answer is yes, it's okay to do it. No, we shouldn't. Anytime we can remotely make a case for it being not harmful to society, for them to be engaging in that kind of morality. It's a very difficult question and needs to be approached on a case-by-case basis. And I don't have any easy answers other than to point to the extreme cases of rape, murder, and theft and say there are cases where it is not only okay but necessary to impose morality on others. For me, this is the easiest question of the set. There is a lot of difference between knowing and believing. And in order to answer the question fully, I also need to add in thinking. I believe, I think, I know. Those are the three that I want to discuss. I believe is the weakest of the three. I believe means that without supplying any evidence for your position, you have a position, and that is what you're going with. It is very weak and highly likely to be wrong. You can't rely on it in any way. I think is the next step up. If you say, I think something, what you're trying to say, or what you should be trying to say, is that not only do you believe it, but you've also considered evidence for and against the position and come to a conclusion. This is kind of the middle path. This is actually where almost all human understanding is. It's at the I think stage. Then there's the I know stage, and this is the strongest of them. And there is only one path to true knowledge, and that is the scientific method. No other path has ever brought us reliable knowledge. And therefore, I think that the scientific method is the only way to knowledge. Question 6 really is a difficult one for me. I believe that the answer is that humans really weren't evolved to truly understand reality. We evolved for survival, not for understanding. Our understanding is kind of a side effect, an afterthought on our survival. And I think that the better way to look at it is that it's amazing that we can actually understand anything at all and come to know, as in the previous things, anything. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't really have what I would call a good answer for this. Question 7 strikes me as a slightly humorous, sort of a Zen question. Sort of like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Anyway, if the question is, what is the density of photons? Well, the density of photons inside of a star is going to be very high. And if you define a high density of photons as being bright, then yes. But I don't think that was really the question. If you look at it in terms of, when a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Well, I don't think it's possible to observe the interior of a star. We're certainly not going there in person, and I find it very difficult to imagine us creating something that could survive in that environment to go and observe whether or not it was bright inside of a star. I would have to go with, it's basically not a question that can really be answered, because the question itself makes an assumption about reality as how we observe it from our little place here on Earth. And reality in the middle of a star is such a different reality that, it just isn't going to work. This is another one of those kind of unanswerable Zen questions. By definition, if I can't conceive of it, I can't conceive of what it is I can't conceive of. But if we just kind of gloss over that, I find it very difficult to conceive of one thing that billions of other people seem to be able to conceive of just fine. I cannot conceive of an omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent, omnibenevolent creator of the universe. Because I think that those attributes end up being contradictory in light of the evidence of what it is like here on Earth, what humans are like, what life is like. I don't think you can both be ultimate good and ultimately powerful and ultimately knowledgeable and allow what exists to exist the way it does, or to have chosen to create it the way it does, the way it is. So, of course, that makes me an atheist. And most especially, that makes me an atheist of the Abrahamic faiths, the ones that claim all of those attributes for their gods. I think they're completely irreconcilable attributes. Anyway, I'm out of time, and thank you, CozmikZen, for the questions. It's been interesting to think about them. Have a great day.